You're listening to the Coach's Journey podcast, exposing the struggles and celebrating the successes in the life of coaches who are action takers and creating authentic impact in today's world. Whether you're just starting out, expanding your reach, or exploding your impact, you're in the right place right now. Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Now, here are your hosts of the Coach's Journey podcast.
So really, really excited for our three things. Faisal, do you want to just jump right in?
Yes, and you might want to wait for the third one because that's probably the most important one, because the first two is actually how every sales call is. There is a foundational element of sales calls, and that's part of coaching as well. Because just maybe I'll get started with a few mindset things. The reason why we put sales call is on purpose because a lot of coaches are afraid of calling it sales. And that's very important to think about, is that first call where you're serving client, where you're actually coaching them, that is a sales call because there is an offer associated with that. You want to support them moving forward. They feel aligned with that journey. And a lot of coaches, they have their own challenges with sales. So as a starting point, if you have a problem with the term sales, money, business, anything like that, those are things you need to deal with in your psychology, because that's something you're going to project and bring into your into your coaching calls, and it's not going to serve the client or you, and it's going to negatively impact your business and the client.
That is so awesome. Like, that's not even the first one, but what Faisal just said is so important. Like, because so many coaches, they're afraid of sales because sales sounds pushy. It sounds slimy. Ooh, sales. I don't want to sell people stuff. And actually, maybe you do, if that stuff actually is what they want and good for them. So sometimes if you want to get over the issue, think of sales as a synonym for impact, right? You need it in your business. Otherwise, you're never going to coach long-term. You're never going to be able to make it as a coach if you don't make sales. So therefore, how can you do that sale, be authentic, be serving the person, have a real impact? That happens not only in your coaching program, but also in your sales. That's part of the program. Whether they sign up or not, you're always helping people, serving them through the impact you can create in the sales conversation. You want to know how to create that impact? We're going to tell you three things right now that can almost guarantee you're going to have a positive, powerful impact on the person you're with in your sales call, even if they don't sign up for your program. And who doesn't feel good about that, right? They left a sales call improved, better, and maybe some of them will want to join you in your program. Like, that's a win-win for everybody. So when you think about sales, think about it as a win-win, not just, hey, you make me money, it's about me. No. It's, I'm here to make a difference for somebody. It's a sales, it's an impact. It's part of helping and serving.
Yeah, and I love that, because and then the first part of coaching and for anybody is your client zero, and you need to figure out, and then this is as much as we want to believe that, but coaches are not immune to blind spots, challenges and all that stuff. We've gone through a journey. We have struggled with a lot of things. We've worked through quite a few things, but this is a new challenge, especially if you're building a business. It's actually incredibly difficult. You're going to run into a lot of challenges emotionally, mentally, and learning a lot of skill sets that are not familiar to you. And there's a lot more happening than you would imagine. And so kind of having the grace, but also understanding that you need to go through that growth journey. So taking care of this before you get on a sales call is very important. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do sales calls. Just be intentional, be aware that those things might show up. So jumping into the first point, and this is
before you say the first point, I want to say like, even people, so that what Faisal just said is true. If you don't have sales experience, you might struggle with the sales process. But even if you do have sales experience in a coaching context, you may still struggle. I was thinking about somebody I know who has a great sales background, but the coaching sale is a little bit different than your typical sales background. There's some definite things that are the same and similar skill sets that you need, but in coaching, it's even a little bit different. It's one of the reasons that even for an experienced salesperson, they sometimes struggle with setting up and making those sales calls because they're not thinking, they're worried, their own stuff as a human is wrapped up in there, their own resistances, their own insecurities. And so today we're going to talk about, hey, the three things are going to help you with your own insecurities, because it's not about you anymore. It's about the client. Yeah. So let's jump into that first one, Faisal.
Yeah, I love that. Before we're going to keep delaying the first one, but you gave me off a story. So what actually, couple of our members, one of them had a sales background, which is actually a benefit in the coaching world, but it does not does not mean that you'll be really good at it. You will start off in a good spot, but you need to tweak quite a few things. And one person came from a sales background, the other one business. Both of them were struggling. I got on a call with them. Actually, one of them, he's actually doing very well right now. He's not even in our program yet. He's actually considering joining the program right now. But now, when we had a conversation a few months ago, he's like, I come from a sales background. I understand outreach. I understand prospecting. He was doing all that stuff. And then I'm like, okay, that's great. You know all that, because most coaches struggle with that. Then I kind of dug in a little bit. What is he doing within his sales call? And he was missing a key point, which we're going to share at the end of this. But all he had to do is
Point number three.
Point number three. All we
right.
had to do was tweak that. And he went from just making a few hundred a month to right now he's making $6,000 a month. And he didn't even join the program. He just got that one value, and he's like, I did very well. And he realized later, he's like, this is tough. You need support. You need a community. So he literally reached out to me last week. He's like, if you still have your program, I need help. And I got on a call with him. He's like, I'm doing very well, but this is a struggle when you do it on your own. And he has a sales background. He's actually a really good salesperson. And this is where a community, even when you know the direction, you will make some movement forward, but you need the support, constant feedback to move your business forward. That's why we're here. So let's jump in. Are we ready to jump in the first point?
Okay. Point number one, I'm going to give it a name. It's vision. Point number one is vision. I think, if we can have a discussion about this. I think one of the most important things in coaching sales calls, but also in many other types of sales calls, is to help understand the client. What does the client or the potential client or the prospect, whatever you want to call them, or the person, the human in front of you, what do they want? Ultimately, what do they want in life, in the area that you coach in? What is the lighthouse that they're aiming for, right? Like, what are some of the things that really matter to them? Like, can you paint that vision clearly? So number one is, I would say, if I was to say it really short, paint a vision of what the goal is. What does this person want?
Yeah, I love that. And actually, it's not just a coaching thing. And this is why the call, you can name it different things. You can call it a sales call, an influence call, a coaching call. They're all very similar to each other. But even in normal day-to-day conversation, let's think about somebody who wants to give advice. Most people just jump in and say, hey, you should do this, but they don't understand what they're trying to do. They don't fully understand the outcome. They don't understand what they're trying to create. They're just spilling a bunch of stuff that might or might not be useful. That's why most advice is garbage, because it just doesn't work. They don't understand if it applies to them or not. And they haven't done enough digging. This is why coaching works. And the first part of coaching is to actually understand what the client is looking for, but actually, more importantly, get them to understand what they're looking for.
Yeah, the point you're making, Faisal, is so important. You can't just go in and paint the vision. Like, most clients will not have that much clarity about their vision. Some of them will, and some of them won't. A lot of clients will go in and I'm not sure what I want, and helping them figure out how to paint that picture can be so valuable in that call. Even if they don't buy coaching, for them, you just change their life, right? If you can help them get clear on what they want, like, you're listening to this call right now. Do you know exactly what you want? Like, what do you want in life, in business, and coaching? Do you have any of that definition? You might have some. Hope you start doing some journaling if you don't. But getting your client to express those things that come. I mean, sometimes what you want is like the opposite of like something you just experienced. So like, I just had this happen. I know I don't want that. I want this. And so like, you can help them along the way to clarify. This is about clarity and clarifying. And in one session, they're not going to probably get total clarity on everything, because like, otherwise life wouldn't be a struggle and coaching wouldn't be a thing. It's because it's really challenging for people to define what they want oftentimes. And sometimes what they want isn't actually what they want until they go a little deeper. And so this is what you're helping them to define what it is that they actually want.
Yeah, I actually got off a call this morning. I had a call with one of my clients, and I've gone through 18 sessions with them around that. And I've already walked him through his vision. He was very clear about it. And the call was around congruence and alignment. And actually, part of that, I actually got him reconnected with that vision and see that future version of himself. And he had his eyes closed. He's like, I was connected to my vision, but I just experienced a different level of that connection. So, because he was struggling with procrastination and overthinking and a bunch of stuff. And I saw that there was a disconnect between what he was doing and what was important to him. And what connected with him is that, the little tasks that I'm doing, the consistent, it's not just a task, it's connected to my purpose. It's connected to the thing that matters to me. And he wouldn't his mind wasn't able to make those connections. And by the end of the call, he's like, holy shit, I thought I knew my vision until I just did this. I was like, oh, that's incredible. So it's not even, it's 18 sessions. And usually every session is about clarity. It might be around a different thing, but there's clarity that they're getting about themselves, about their path forward. But it takes a lot to get people to become clear. In fact, most of my clients have gone through at least over the course of a year, 10, 15 times their vision building process for them to understand in their strategy. So with coaches, so looking at coaches, it's very important for them to understand what they want. A lot of times coaches don't know what they want because, and then they struggle with sales because they don't associate that vision with that they have in their life that the coaching business is going to give them. Part of it is the meaning and impact, but part of it is the abundance they create through this business. They don't understand, their mind doesn't know the connection between the sales calls, the impact they're making versus the big vision that they're creating. They haven't thought this through enough.
Yeah. So you're making a super important distinction too, subtly here, Faisal. Even so, you can spend a year weekly with somebody clarifying a vision and integrating it into their soul, so they feel it every day. And also it'll change over time because they're going to learn things. But in that first session, the impact session, the sales session that we're talking about here, getting them to feel something is really, really important when you're painting that vision. Getting to really feel it deeply. And one of the ways that I like to do that is to really ask them what was the most important part of that? They're telling you all about what they want in life and business and relationships, and you can prompt them for those things. And what's the most important right now for you in this moment, right?
You're listening to the Coach's Journey podcast.